and welcome to this special edition. I don't know if it's called comment section, if we're calling it untitled comment section spinoff.
It's a comment section story.
Yes, because this is not episode 100. We are not going to waste our 100. If anything, we're going to be like Marvel Comics and DC as well and say this is episode 99.1 or something like that.
Yes.
But guys, we are now, as of this recording, we are now officially 2 weeks away from Deadpool and Wolverine going into theaters. That's right.
It's so close.
I know. And you know what? One of my biggest regrets with this show, and there's been a lot of them,
of course,
is that we started this show right as like the Infinity Saga of the MCU was coming to a close. So most of this show, we have not really been excited for a lot of Marvel stuff.
Yeah, the Marvel kind of took a dip.
Yes.
After being such a big part of the early part of comment section.
Yes. But, you know, I just want to say, we're now halfway through the year, okay? I wish, just as a Marvel fan, I almost wish I could freeze this moment in time. Because as a Marvel fan, 2024 has been so great. I don't even know what other year to compare it to because it's been so different from the other years because we've had the launch in the comic books, the new Ultimate Marvel Universe. And I've read like 6 issues or 5 issues of the new Ultimate Spider-Man. I've read Ultimate Black Panther 4 issues. I've read the launch of their new Avengers book called The Ultimates. Oh my god, guys, the new Ultimate Universe is so good. It is so good. It is the most exciting thing Marvel has done in a decade. It is so good. And you know what? When they put out Ultimates #1, honestly, when I got done reading that, I felt like I did with the MCU after the first Avengers movie, and with the Arrowverse after the first Flash and Arrow crossover, which is, oh my god, we have a new Marvel universe up and running, and it's great. So, anyone who reads comics, honestly, if you like Spider-Man or Black Panther or Avengers, you have to read the new Ultimate Marvel universe. It's so good. Anyway, and we've also had X-Men 97, the return of our 90s X-Men. And when was the last time we had a great Marvel cartoon? Well, TV show, because we've had the Spider-Verse movies. But in TV, it's been since Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And now, we're counting down to Deadpool and Wolverine, which hopefully gets us excited for Fantastic Four next year.
Yes.
But, man, if Deadpool and Wolverine is great, this will by far be the best year to be a Marvel fan, I'll say, since 2018.
Yeah, and living in this Schrodinger's cat limbo of the hype before we know whether it's good or bad, that's a good place to be in.
Yes. Now, we do know that there's going to be a lot of cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine. How do we know that? Because director Shawn Levy has told us so. And we've had a couple confirmed ones, so as I don't think we've actually counted down to a Marvel movie since Endgame.
Yeah.
Because we kind of were very pessimistic about Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
So
we weren't exactly counting down.
Yes. We were almost dreading it. Like, oh my god, what are they going to do? But because for the first time in a while, we're counting down to a Marvel Cinematic Universe film. And we thought it would be fun to count down our possibilities of who can make cameos in the upcoming film.
Yeah, let's speculate.
Yes. Because, of course, we're for sure going to be right. Of course. How could we not be?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone owes me $10 for everyone I get right.
Yes. Now, I have broken it up into our Fox Marvel characters and our MCU Marvel characters. So we'll start with the Fox ones first. Also, I did just focus on the big characters and ones that would make sense. So I didn't add Guardians of the Galaxy because why would they be there?
Yeah.
What sense would that make?
Yeah, there's some that I guess just don't make sense.
Yes. So let's start with our confirmed characters, okay? We'll just list off those, and maybe that can help give us an idea of who else will be in this movie. Our first confirmed one, outside of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, is Jennifer Garner is coming back as Elektra. Our next one, and this got revealed at CinemaCon a little bit ago, Chris Hemsworth's version of Thor will appear. However, it's going to be old footage that's re-edited to where I guess it's kind of like, did you ever see the post-credit scene for Deadpool 2? Where
I must have, since I've seen it, but
it's like you have new footage of Deadpool talking to old stock footage of Wolverine from the 2009
X-Men Origins
movie. It's kind of like that, where it's Deadpool, I guess, interacting with footage of Thor from Thor: The Dark World.
Gotcha.
I won't tell you what it is, because I know what it is.
Oh, okay.
It's it's pretty good. All right. From our Fox era, we found out that Tyler Mane, this was in a TV spot. We knew the character was going to be in it, but I wasn't sure if the actor was coming back. Tyler Mane is reprising his role as Sabretooth from the first X-Men movie 24 years ago. That's right.
Wowee.
Wolverine's big bad is coming back. And we do know Ant-Man is going to be in this movie. Do you know how?
So tiny you can't see him?
No. Complete opposite.
Oh, okay.
He's giant. His giant corpse is the villain's hideout.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Did you see the new trailer?
No, actually.
You see her...
Maybe parts of it. I'm not sure.
In her hideout, it's literally Ant-Man's dead body. He's a skeleton.
That's hilarious.
His mouth opens, and the villain walks out of it.
Oh, okay.
That is their base of operations. And even Deadpool goes to the camera and says, hey, looks like Paul Rudd finally aged. Yes. So, we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4... I have 5 possibilities from... We'll start with our Fox era X-Men characters. I guess I'll go first for the Fox characters before you kind of say if you think this character will appear or not.
Okay.
And then
I will say,
we'll reverse it from Marvel.
I, as someone who's not very keyed in, had just sort of like, what's my vibe assessment for something like this, which is often wrong. But I was thinking my vibe assessment had about I had about 4 thoughts. One of them is like the most obvious to me category, which was, let's think about what just X-Men's past sort of cameos we might see. And I just listed, again, as a far from the level of expert of you, I just listed some of the most obvious. I was like, oh, let's see, Professor X, Magneto, Cyclops, Storm. But I would like to hear your highly professional take on this.
Oh, yes. So, the first one I'm going to bring up is the one I think is the most likely to happen. I would almost dare say I think it's pretty much confirmed. And that is, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, yes.
Yes, I can see it just fine. Professor
Patrick Stewart as Professor Charles Xavier. Now, when you look back at the old X-Men movies, really, I mean, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine was clearly the main character. A lot of people complain about that, but he's the best X-Men character, so why not? But also with him is Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier. And when you look back at those old movies, their relationship was such a big part of Wolverine's story arc of how Xavier helped Wolverine become a better person, become a hero, and really find a family in the X-Men. And also, I don't know if you know this, the villain of Deadpool 2 is his twin sister. Which is ironic, because the actor who plays his twin sister is young enough to be Patrick Stewart's granddaughter. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, they're both bald, so there you go. There's the family resemblance.
There you go.
And also, let's not forget, it was 2 years ago. Patrick Stewart did play an alternate version of Charles Xavier in Doctor Strange 2, And he did say in an interview that that he has talked to Marvel about reprising the role in Deadpool and Wolverine. So, by far, I mean, of this whole list, this is the one I am just like, we can pretty much confirm it, even though it hasn't been confirmed yet, but he's going to be in it, right?
Yeah, you've convinced me. I already thought it, but you convinced me.
Yes. So, next up on the list, and I don't know if I'll be able to do a picture for all of them, because we don't want to have a bunch of dead air time as I search for images.
That's fine.
But let's bring up Halle Berry's Storm. Now, of the rest of the X-Men characters, Halle Berry's Storm is the one I think is the most likely to appear after Xavier. And because one of the reasons is because Storm is by far one of the most popular X-Men characters. And Halle Berry was one of the franchise's biggest stars. And during the time that they were filming Deadpool and Wolverine, if you look on her Instagram, around the time they were filming, her hair did look pretty similar to Storm. So, while I think Xavier is a definite, I think that Halle Berry appearing as Storm is a very, very good chance. Like a probably she'll pop up. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, this was one of my thoughts. Like, if I had to narrow it down to X-Men and specific castings that I thought were most likely, this was, in that top 4 that came to mind. So definitely.
Yes. So let's bring up. I know we haven't been able to do a lot of pictures lately, so I'm rushing through trying to grab as many as I can. Next one's a twofer.
Alrighty.
All right, so what do we think about the possibility of the other team members of the original X-Men? I'm putting them both together in this one. Cyclops and Jean Grey. So for me, I think it's possible, but not likely. Because when you look at the trailers for this movie, a big part of the story is about how Wolverine failed his world. And about how him teaming up with Deadpool will kind of bring him redemption. So I don't know if you're going to bring in... If the whole point of the movie is Wolverine moving on from his mistake, I don't know if you bring in Cyclops and Jean Grey, who clearly died on the alternate Wolverine's world, especially Jean Grey, because I think that whatever happened to Jean Grey, whatever caused her to die, will be a big motivation for this version of Wolverine in this movie. So I would say that it's possible, but I would say it's not likely. I'm guessing they won't be in it. But if they are in it, they'll be together. If one of them's in it, they'll both for sure be in it. But I'm guessing they probably won't be. So what do you think?
No, I mean, like I said, Cyclops is one of the ones that came to mind, but I am totally with you on that reasoning, why it's less likely than the other ones we've mentioned.
Yes. All right. Now let's jump outside of the X-Men universe, shall we?
Finally. What are we, to Howard the Duck, finally? No.
Hopefully. They better have Howard the Duck. For God's sakes, he was in Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, I know, he's got
to make an appearance. But no, we're sticking with the Fox era. And we know Jennifer Garner is going to appear as Elektra. But could Ben Affleck appear as Daredevil from the 2003 movie? I'm going to say... definitively, as close as I can, he won't appear in it.
Okay.
And the reason is because Kevin Smith talked about how... Because Kevin Smith and Ben Affleck have worked a bunch together. They've worked on Chasing Amy, Mallrats, Dogma. Mm-hmm. He said that the reason Ben took the role of Daredevil was because he really, really wanted to play Batman. But at the time... it didn't look like there was going to be another Batman movie for a while, even though there was one 2 years later. So that was the reason he chose to be Daredevil. And last year, Ben Affleck came back one last time as Batman in The Flash, and he was he's been very public. He was very public before the movie came out. He was very happy with that final appearance in that movie, about how it was a perfect send-off for his character. And I will just say, I agree. The scene where he talks to... Because you haven't seen The Flash, right?
No.
He's not even in the costume, but he's still playing Batman. The scene with him and Barry, where Bruce talks to Barry about how the scars we have make us who we are. We're not meant to go back in time and fix them. That to me is Ben Affleck's best scene as Batman. He's not even wearing the costume. You know, some people debate, because The Flash flopped, about if Andy Muschietti should direct The Brave and the Bold. I just want to say, Andy Muschietti was given Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton, pretty much considered the two best Batman live-action actors. And he brought out two of their best performances in that movie. That is why I think Andy Muschietti should direct Brave and the Bold, because... it was... Ben's scene in there was so great. I just think, like, he left the way he wanted to.
Yeah.
And he left it with Batman. I mean, once you play Batman, are you really going to want to go back and play Daredevil?
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of my thought. What do you think about the possibility of Ben Affleck as Daredevil?
Yeah, I agree. I had no thoughts about this going in. I didn't really have any idea, but it didn't strike me enough to list it as one of the possibilities.
Yes. All right. So now we'll wrap up going through our Fox characters with a team, because in the Fox era they had the X-Men, they had Daredevil, and who else did they also had? They also had the Fantastic Four. Now there are two movie versions of the Fantastic Four that Fox did, and I will say, I think we're going to get an appearance from someone from the original two Fantastic Four movies. Someone from this cast.
Gotcha.
So, we just last year in Doctor Strange 2 had Mr. Fantastic, and we're going to have a new Fantastic Four movie next year. So Fantastic Four is already on people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I would say we're going to get this cast is because these were by far the most successful of the Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah.
And also, they have a connection with our Captain America, Chris Evans.
Yeah.
It's Human Torch right there.
Yeah.
So, I think that I feel pretty good in saying that, look, if we're going to get Jennifer Garner as Elektra, we're going to get someone from the original two Fantastic Four movies. Now, there was a 2015 movie, but the fact that it flopped so hard makes me think if they were to do a cameo from that other cast, most people probably wouldn't recognize them.
Yeah. You'd almost have to have Deadpool make a little comment about it, too. Like,
yes,
there'd be no...
They could actually make a comment about, like, oh, thank God we got this team and not the other one.
Yeah.
That didn't go so well.
Yeah.
Though there could be a reference because Ryan Reynolds loves to bring up Green Lantern. And he also loves to bring up the Deadpool and X-Men Origins Wolverine people weren't happy with.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, can I say something about that movie? People were so upset. They sewn up Deadpool's mouth. You know, in the post-credit scene, it gets unsewn, right? I don't think most people saw that post-credit scene where it does get undone.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Interesting.
People may be a little harsh when they didn't see the full thing.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Do you think we're going to get a Fantastic Four appearance in the movie?
You know, my one sort of like, I think this is my smart sort of take that makes me feel even the slightest bit informed or predictive about things. I think because Fantastic Four is on the mind, and we've got Fantastic Four coming up as one of the big, like, finally part of the MCU type things coming out soon. This is where I was like, you know, the one I feel most certain about with how little certainty I have with all of these other predictions, is something with Fantastic Four. Whether it, I was leaning something from this cast. Only other thing would be someone who just plays one of them, like Mr. Fantastic, who plays it in Deadpool and Wolverine, and then does not play it. Like
John Krasinski did in Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, that already, something akin to that. That's already happened though, so I don't know.
Yeah, they could do it again.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe Deadpool makes a joke about how that Mr. Fantastic dies because he didn't sign the big Marvel contract of 7 films.
Yeah. So yeah, my thought was either leaning someone from this cast or all of them, or some other just nod to Fantastic Four with a different actor, something like that.
Oh yes. Now, that's all I had for our Fox era of Marvel. I'm assuming, but I'll ask, was there anyone you felt was left off that you thought could be a possibility?
From that section, no.
Okay. So let's move to our Marvel cast.
Yeah. Although I could say one bullet point I had, which kind of applies to both that section and going into this next section was, and this is kind of one of my uninformed takes that has proven to be wrong all the time, which is like, I feel like maybe there's too much multiverse Spider-Man lately. Maybe they won't go there. I'm always wrong when I think that a studio will show restraint. So even though my bullet point was too much doing this with Spider-Man recently, so no Spider-Man, I that's assuming studios have restraint, so I'm probably wrong.
Okay, so it sounds like you want to jump into our Marvel section then, if you're bringing up Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I mean that's applying to any of the that's Sony Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm jumping forward to
Okay,
to our next section.
Our next section, because I lumped Spider-Man in with the MCU, because he's all three of them have already been in the MCU, so they are technically MCU characters now.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess we'll start there. And unlike this time where I went first, I will have you go first. Because I'm sure you're probably more confident with the Marvel characters, because we have talked about the MCU more than the X-Men ones.
Yeah.
So let's start with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
what do you think are the chances of Spider-Man?
That was my thought on that, basically.
That was pretty much it?
Was, no, except that I'm always wrong about studios showing any kind of restraint. It's almost like they've done it so much that they have to do it again. But, so maybe I'm actually... My statement was no Spider-Man. But now I'm conflicted about it.
Okay. So we'll lump all the Spider-Men in here together. Although, I guess we'll save that for after this bit. So, will a Spider-Man appear in Deadpool and Wolverine? This is the one where I can definitively 100% say no. And the reason is because of legal reasons. Right now, the current Marvel Sony deal, because they made Spider-Man No Way Home, there's one movie left in that deal. Are they going to waste that one movie on a cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine? Now, they could have made another deal. Disney and Sony could have made another deal for this specific situation, but if they had, we would have heard about it. Or they would have announced another brand new deal.
Right.
And I think Disney and Marvel are going to be very careful, because remember, last time they tried to renew this deal, at first the deal was off. It wasn't until months later that they did go back to negotiate, that they did agree to bring Spider-Man back into the MCU. And also, so I think they're going to be very careful. Okay, we for sure have one last one. What are we going to use him for? And does anyone have any doubt that they're saving him for the Avengers? And, like, I will ask this to you. With the state of the MCU now, with Avengers 5, okay? I think it comes out in 2026 or whatever. I think
like
that's
that.
right. Avengers 5. No Captain America, no Iron Man. Basically, the lineup is... Well, it'd be like Ant-Man, She-Hulk, Thor, people aren't so happy about. Can we agree, at minimum, Tom Holland's Spider-Man appearing in the Avengers, the next Avengers, as a team member, is the factor between that movie making $1 billion or not?
Well, I was just, you don't have a movie if you don't have Captain America or Spider-Man or like, you don't have an Avengers movie at that point. So,
I mean, you have Ant-Man, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel.
I mean, I'm being hyperbolic.
Yeah.
They could obviously do like, this is a new generation. It wouldn't be. Yeah, it would not be a decision that would make it the $1 billion movie. You're right.
But like, hypothetically, if there's, let's say that we're looking at two universes in the multiverse. One movie doesn't have Tom Holland's Spider-Man. The other does. Does the one with him make $1 billion and the one without him not make $1 billion? Because I think, that's what would happen.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, right now, Spider-Man, really, for the last 5 years, has been carrying the MCU on his back.
Yeah. I think Spider-Man is like it's the early 2000s, Spider-Man is the it superhero right now.
Yeah. I mean, between No Way Home, Spider-Verse movies, the video games, Spider-Man right now is the king.
Yeah.
And you know once they announce Spider-Man 4, there's going to be a lot of hype for it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just hope it's not in vain.
Yeah.
So,
let us hope.
All right, let's play a low game. If one Spider-Man were to appear in it, who's it going to be? I'm going to guess Tobey Maguire. If it's Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, it's going to be Tobey.
Yeah. My thought was like, we're with all of the Fox of it all that we've already predicted, that would have to be from the era, is what I'm saying. I know it sounds like I'm mincing Sony versus Fox, but from the era of that X-Men to that era of Sony Spider-Man, I think that would make the most sense. But again, it's almost not even worth predicting to me.
Yeah. So, again, I'll ask you first, and then I'll give kind of my thoughts. Next one up, the original MCU character. What do you think about the possibility of Iron Man popping up?
Truthfully, as far as the rest of the MCU is concerned, and not to jump ahead, but it's my only other prediction that I have, which I think is obvious, but that's why I put it on here, was Doctor Strange. If they were going to try and lean into, fully bridging the gap between these universes, Iron Man would probably be my next bet. But I didn't feel that strong about I didn't have a strong gut feeling about any other MCU characters being in it, including Iron Man. But that's about all I can say. I would put Iron Man towards the top of my predictions, but I don't know. Maybe it would just be in suit only. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, so for me, I'm guessing probably not. Because, I mean, he is the first MCU hero. But when you think narratively, there's really nothing that connects Tony Stark with Deadpool or Wolverine. And after his death in Endgame, I don't know if the return of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man would be in for a cameo in a Deadpool movie. I think that's something you save Either for Avengers Secret Wars or a post-credit scene in Avengers 5.
Yeah.
So we're both pretty much just like, no, we don't think he'll be in it.
Yeah. You're right with the lack of connection to, I wasn't thinking that, but yeah, I was struggling to find a connection with most MCU characters. So.
All right. Now, while Iron Man was the first character in the MCU movies, back in World War II, we did have the Star-Spangled Man with the plan. So, in Deadpool and Wolverine, could we see Captain America himself, Steve Rogers, appear in the movie?
Yes. Now, it would be an interesting character dynamic to see. A couple top Avengers you'd want to see in Wolverine and Captain America. So, conceptually, it would be one of my highest picks. But I am in a fuzz and unclear on whether it would actually happen. I was leaning no, but yeah. What do you think?
For this one, I'll go as far as I think it's possible.
Okay.
I think there's a good chance. Because in the comic books, Wolverine and Captain America did fight together in World War II. And they do have kind of like that brotherhood kind of relationship of fighting alongside each other. And in the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, we do see Wade Wilson at the TVA, and they show stock footage from all the different Avengers movies, and the one that Deadpool has the biggest reaction to is Captain America, where he gives him the salute.
Yeah.
And also, let's not forget, we mentioned it before, Chris Evans, if this is a big celebration of Fox, he does have a connection to that Fox era.
That is true.
And let's not forget, I don't know if that project will ever happen, but remember 3 years ago, we found out that he was very close to signing a new deal to return as Captain America. So, I think there's a pretty good chance he might pop up in the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. It would definitely be one of the coolest, like, wish list ones, for sure.
Yeah. So, if he did pop up, do you think it'll be as old man Steve Rogers, or as in his prime Captain America?
I mean, I would think in his prime, but...
Yeah, I'm guessing for a movie like this, you go with prime Captain America.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So, we got 3 left. Next one up, we'll mention Black Panther. The King of Wakanda, T'Challa. What do you think are the chances of Black Panther showing up in this movie?
This is especially hard for me to comment on because I haven't seen Black Panther 2 and know how they approach any of the situation going on. So,
well, they killed him off.
Yeah, I mean, that extent I get, but like, I don't have the first clue how they would approach a cameo. It doesn't seem likely at all to me, but there could be something I'm not seeing.
Now, notice I chose an image from the comic book.
Yes.
Because they have to recast him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I will always be grateful to Kevin Feige for, I mean, first of all, just giving us Civil War and Spider-Man No Way Home, that would be enough. But the whole MCU, also producing Raimi Spider-Man and the old X-Men, always be grateful. But the one weakness he's really shown is that he gets too attached to actors playing the characters. And I think he even said his biggest regret with the MCU was having to recast the Hulk. Which I'm like, Kevin, Did you see Ant-Man 3? Maybe we should have some other regrets instead. So unfortunately, right now, there's really not that much narrative connection between Black Panther and Deadpool or Wolverine. Although, no, I take that back. In the comics, Black Panther marries Storm. There is a little connection, kind of like, I guess you could almost say a brother-in-law type thing. But here's the unfortunate thing. Kind of like Spider-Man. We'll use behind-the-scenes logic. For some reason, and look, I get that they're trying to do what they think is respectful. I can't fault them for that. For some reason, Marvel's decided they do not want to bring T'Challa onto any screen if it's not played by Chadwick Boseman.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting a new Black Panther animated series, which is going to look at Black Panthers from different eras, which I think sounds pretty cool. But it's obviously kind of, we're doing anything we can to avoid T'Challa.
Mm-hmm.
And in X-Men 97, now I haven't seen the season finale, but in X-Men 97, they show that Black Panther is T'Chaka. Even though in the Fantastic Four cartoon, it was T'Challa, and T'Chaka was already dead.
Uh-huh.
And the showrunner of X-Men 97 said, that wasn't my call. So, I don't think we're going to see T'Challa until after Secret Wars, when I pretty much think they're going to, at minimum, soft reboot.
Yeah, right.
So, this is one of those definitive, no, we're not going to see Black Panther.
Makes sense.
Which is a shame, because he's such a great character.
Yeah, of course.
Also,
great character, but there's mess there. So
shout out to Ultimate Black Panther. That comic is so good right now.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds all great.
Let's bring up the Jolly Green Giant himself, the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Now, we'll just get this out of the way. Not that crappy CGI green Mark Ruffalo. I'm talking about the Hulk. Hulk smash. That's who we're talking about. Will the Hulk appear in this movie?
This was one that, crossed my mind as another, higher chance one, just practically. I get it. But, yeah, again, not enough for me to write it down as one of my few choices.
Yes, so I was trying to bring up an image. Oh, here we go. All right, so for me, I will go and say, let's see, there he is? Okay. Of all the Marvel characters, besides one we'll mention in a second, this is the one I think is the most likely, the Hulk.
Interesting.
Because this is Wolverine's first appearance, right, in the MCU?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Before he appeared in Giant Size X-Men #1, Wolverine's first comic book appearance ever was in The Incredible Hulk #180, where he and the Hulk fought each other, and he had kind of a weird-looking mask that looks very more cat-like than what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can bring an image of it up real quick where it's not... Oh, that's kind of crappy. But... Oh, here's a good one from eBay. That is going to get you... There it is.
Okay, yeah, a little bit of a weird-looking mask, but
yeah.
Very
This was his first
cool.
appearance. Actually, yeah, first appearance at the end of 180, but this was 181 where he made his first full appearance.
Interesting.
So,
yeah, as a part of the history of these characters.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's one of the most iconic things about Wolverine, his fight with the Hulk. And if this movie... Look, this movie was giving us one thing we always wanted from Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. him teaming up with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. But you know one other thing fans have really, 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 really been wanting? Seeing him fight the Hulk.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it will be the Eric Bana Hulk, the Edward Norton one, or Mark Ruffalo. Just as long as it's not that crappy Professor Hulk from Endgame. I think this one is, of all the Marvel characters, besides the last one we'll bring up, this is the most likely one.
Interesting.
If any Marvel character is going to pop up, it's going to be the Hulk.
I certainly agree that it would be one of the most exciting ones to see.
Yes. So, you kind of alluded this to already. Our last character we'll bring up, Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
So, you talked about it a little bit already. What do you think are the chances of Doctor Strange appearing in this movie?
Yeah, so for this one to me was like, well, it's not exactly the one where fans are like, the number one character I want to see in this movie as a cameo. My number one choice is Doctor Strange. No, but plot-wise, I think seeing like a portal or something in one of the trailers-wise, it seemed highly likely as far as MCU versions of characters goes.
Yeah, so look, obviously, when you're calling the saga the multiverse saga, Doctor Strange is going to be a big key player, like he was in Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, now, you said you saw in the trailer, right? There's a portal that opens?
I think so. I don't notice things in trailers. But that was a comment that I saw once.
Yeah,
hey, this is a comment section.
In the trailer, portal looks just like the one Toby and Andrew came out of.
Mm-hmm.
Looks just like the one everyone from Endgame came out of, opens. And Wolverine and Deadpool jump through it. So it's either Doctor Strange or Wong. Mm-hmm. It's one of those two. They're obviously going to be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
My guess, though, is that it's going to be in a post-credit scene that leads up to Avengers Secret Wars.
Okay.
So, I mean, besides Hulk, this is the one I think... This is almost a guarantee. Doctor Strange will be in it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. This was one of the ones where I was like... to me, this was actually... and I guess this makes it perfect to bring up in retrospect, but to me it was almost like, do I even write this down? Am I going to sound like an idiot for saying, like, I think Doctor Strange is going to be in it?
You'd just be like, I have a list of possibilities of why he might pop up. He'll be in it. We know.
Yeah.
At minimum, it'll be Wong. But I'm pretty sure for a movie like this, it'll be Doctor Strange. Or both of them.
Yeah.
All right. Before we wrap this up, we got one last question to ask. We're all excited for Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine in this movie. Will Hugh Jackman... I'll ask this to you first. Will Hugh Jackman be in Avengers Secret Wars?
Goodness. So I think my feeling would be, again, less informed, but I think my feeling would be it might be difficult for it to be to an extent of a main character in that movie, but maybe they'll shoot some stuff now that's going to be used for that movie or something like that, which would make it possible for him to be a character that appears to the extent of either a cameo or a side character in some form in that movie.
Okay. For me, I'm going to say yes. He will be in it. Because, I mean, just look at right now, clearly Deadpool and Wolverine is the most excited people have been for a Marvel movie since Spider-Man No Way Home. And when you think of the MCU, the state it's in right now, the next couple Avengers movies are going to have to deal with the loss of Captain America and Iron Man, the two leads of the Avengers movies. And we talked about Avengers 5. I 100% believe if you don't have Tom Holland as Spider-Man, you're not going to have any hype for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But for Avengers Secret Wars, a movie that will probably have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Captain America. Probably more in a smaller role, since they haven't really been they haven't had a significant role in the multiverse saga. Do you know what will get fans real excited? Avengers Secret Wars. Filling in the spots of Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. I mean, for anyone who's lost hope, wouldn't that just bring back hype again?
Yeah.
If those were our two leads for... Now, they don't have to be the leaders. That could be Sam Wilson's Captain America, or if they bring back Chris Evans as Captain America, or both.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say Avengers 5, you couldn't have Sam there, and Avengers 6, Secret Wars, you couldn't have Steve Rogers there. But, like, if you did an Avenger, and those two are front and center, Tobey Spider-Man, Hugh's Wolverine, that would get people hyped again.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about that's what I think this era of Marvel desperately needs is some characters to bring people back in it, get people excited again. And that would do it. Like, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, that would do it. My hope in them making or being able to make good decisions like that is, shaky, but boy, do I think that would be the ticket to what they're looking for.
Yeah, and it also accomplishes two things, I think. One is, after Endgame, how do you go bigger than Endgame? Sure, you had Cap and Iron Man, who were the big guys of the Infinity Saga. But you know who were the big guys of the generation before them? Tobey's Spidey and Hugh's Wolverine. And I think a lot of people agree, the MCU, whether it's a full reboot or a soft reboot, Secret Wars will kind of be the end of it. I personally think Secret Wars will be when Kevin Feige leaves, and that at minimum they'll soft reboot. We'll have a new Iron Man, we'll have a new Captain America. Maybe we'll still keep like Doctor Strange or something like that. Or Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to wrap this thing up, that would be a pretty big way to do it.
It certainly would.
Yeah, so guys, there we go. I'm assuming by the time they watch this, we'll be a week away from Deadpool and Wolverine. So
yeah,
it's coming, guys. It's coming.
Yes, it is coming very soon. How exciting. And
yes.
This was a mini-sode, a 99.5.
Oh, yes. That's how you do it in the comic book industry. If you don't want your special anniversary issue, just put a little point somewhere. Yeah, guys. So, there you go. Deadpool and Wolverine is coming. Hopefully, maybe we'll do a special on it if we like it. Or maybe if we don't like it, we can just take shots of whiskey.
We can do
like,
whatever we want.
When we had hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So, guys, there you go. Call this episode 99.1 or 99.5 if you want.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine is coming, and we are marching on to our journey to episode 100.
Yes.
Paul didn't want us to get this far, because that means we get to ask for more money this time.
Yes.
Maybe we'll move from a penny to a quarter.
We've been hoping that for some time.
Yes. So, guys, as you count down to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine on the big screen again, fighting alongside and also with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, in your conversations discussing the film, always remember, I'm having a stroke, I don't know what's going on. Always remember to keep falling down that rabbit hole.